But anyways, yeah, it's force. That's what government does. They either force you taxation or they force you buy guns.
This. That's awesome.
And
you watch InfoWars?
And the problem
I actually had a flag with some flag and a Gadsden flag set on the side. But I went to the protest where they burned that limo and stuff. And I actually got attacked and they stole my flag.
Oh, of course they did.
Hit me with the pipe.
You were there. We watched that on the news when they set that limo on fire. That's so fucked up.
So they destroyed my flags and try to beat me up, but they're they can't really hit hard or anything.
Yeah, they're pussies.
They're pussies.
Because that's what they're raising in the youth of America today is a bunch of pussies and crybabies. But if God forbid we ever get attacked on our soil and we have to fight for ourselves, nobody's gonna know how. Because they're all a bunch of crybabies. They don't want guns. They don't want protection. They don't want nothing. It's sad. But yeah, did you see any of the InfoWars guys around anywhere? Or?
No, we were trying to find them, but we missed them.
I was hoping to see them.
Yeah, but there's enough to do,
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been around the last couple of days.
We talked to these weird guys. It was Fusion TV. I guess they're I don't know. I think they're like a leftist type millennial station, Fusion TV, I think, and they interviewed us. But
I've heard of death panels.
Yep.
Refresh me.
When government chooses, just because of if they think you're worthy enough, depending on how healthy you are, they get to choose if you die or live. That happens a lot in Canada and happens a lot in Western Europe.
We have to go check our sources.
That's fine. That's good.
Yeah.
Look it up. Definitely.
That's not my perception.
Yeah. But I'm interested in your point about you having to pay an extra tax rate for not having insurance through the Affordable Care Act. But I think what a lot of people don't totally realize is that that is one component of that is really necessary to have a system that can guarantee health care for everybody regardless of whether they have pre-existing conditions. So I guess first of all, I wonder if we agree that health insurance companies should not be able to deny insurance to people based on them already being sick. Should people be able to get insurance when they've already been sick, or should insurance companies be able to say, sorry, it's not in our financial interest because we know we're going to spend money to provide.
Donald Trump sucks! Donald Trump sucks! Donald Trump sucks!
he's president. He won already. Let it go, man.
Sexist, racist, anti-gay! Donald Trump, go away! 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 Donald Trump! Donald Trump! You should be fucking angry! You should be angry, you idiot! You should be fucking angry!
Just as an aside, Julie and I came over here because we were just interested in,
me too.
in hearing why are you guys out here? What's motivating you? Why do you feel the need to be out here? And when we came, it actually was kind of more confrontational. I mean, it was peaceful, but whoever was here was kind of lined up, and people were kind of shouting at each other.
But you see, we encounter a lot of that right there. That's what we encounter a lot of.
Exactly.
Sorry, let me explain. Let me tell it. I'm gonna explain why. Sorry, I'm gonna explain what he was saying. That's why I don't know if we want to get in because I'm gonna explain what he was saying.
Do you want to have this conversation?
Go ahead, join us.
So the only problem I have with insurance is each business has its own philosophy, its own culture. So yes, one business that morally is wrong, well definitely yes, they're morally wrong. If they decide to not give people insurance because of pre-existing conditions, they have the right to. Do I think it's right? No. But another company might see that as weakness, as competition, and they might do it because each business is an individual in itself.
Yeah, but is there your second company in your scenario? Your second company that's going to jump in and provide insurance for the people who have cancer who require super expensive treatment. That second company doesn't stand to profit off of those people, so there's no money in that. There's no reason why
there's still money. There's always money.
Well, you're not even insuring somebody who is going to require tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands.
They might not be able to do that, but they might be able to do some. I mean, they're doing better than most, right? Isn't that doing better than most? We're humans, right? We can't do everything. I mean, we can.
my point is like if we assume that like yes, like we should be able to provide insurance for people regardless of
because it's free choice
conditions, then we can't then open up the total free market system where
Getting very heady, guys.
yeah.
I lost it. But
Yeah, we're very
you're
logical.
doing great.
Well, the only problem is with
I
the
just
government.
lost this
Yeah, the only problem I have with socialized is they force you to get it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
Yes,
ask.
they
I just
force
had a
you to get
question
it.
for you.
And they use guns. Government always does this. And that's why I hate it.
To implement it,
Yes,
you have to
implement,
use
yes,
force.
yes.
And that's what Hitler did. The first thing he did was centralize
Yeah.
The small
education,
businesses
centralize
are really
medical.
suffering.
Yes, they are.
You know, they can't afford it. You know, they're working, they're scripting to keep their business together, and now they're forced. You know, if they have more than so many employees, which it's understandable. People need insurance
Yes.
coverage, but that small business they're struggling too, and now they have to provide coverage, and people are losing their businesses.
It's actually worse. It's actually worse for the individuals. Now they lost their job, and now they don't have insurance.
Thank you.
And not only that, it's a violation of your rights. Because to me, taxation is theft. Basically, government's telling you, just because I tax you, I have the right. It doesn't matter who you are. Just because I'm government, I have the right to take your money and give it to someone else. If you voted me in or not.
It's like forcing you to buy a car that you don't want.
That's what the libertarian way is. It's just freedom. I don't like.
Are you folks libertarian?
Yes, actually, classical liberals, Thomas Jefferson.
Me too.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm more anarchical though. I'm more John Locke.
Listen,
I'm more
when
John
I was
Locke.
a teenager, I was in an anarchy thing, and then I realized, hey, I gotta work. You gotta have some form of structure, you know. But truthfully, I don't like when the government starts forcing things on its people, because that's what Hitler did, and that's how he ended up in power.
They're still doing
So
that.
interesting how like it's so interesting like the parallels between the two.
Yeah, it's consistent.
dialogues because like
It's consistent.
we don't want Hitler. You guys don't want Hitler.
No,
But Hitler
we
is
see
very
it from-
manipulative, like every other dictator.
He was a great
Yes.
speaker. He
Great
was a politician.
Yep.
They voted him into power. People wanted him because they were doing so great. He brought back the jobs. He brought back the health care.
Yep.
He put the education in, but he started centralizing everything.
Yes.
He centralized education.
Yep.
He centralized medical. He centralized everything. He took the jobs. He took everything. It's
It's
exactly.
so interesting because like when I listen to that, and it sounds to me
Nice.
like you're describing Trump, but to
Yes, he
you it
is.
sounds like we're
No,
describing.
But the thing is, Trump isn't
He's
forcing
not even
anything
in
on
office
anyone.
yet.
Trump is against forcing that on
This
people.
is something that Obama implemented.
Listen,
Obama implemented all these things. Trump's not even in office
Well,
yet.
there's some things I don't think Trump is good because he's still authoritarian-ish. And there's some things he's authoritarian-ish. He's not perfect.
he's
Yeah.
not perfect. But I think,
You're right.
But I think he does
But-
care about America very much.
I think he cares about America, but he's still authoritarian-ish. Because the only problem I have with him is drugs. What he's gonna do about drugs? What he's gonna do about marijuana? What he's gonna do about other things? I mean,
I think
freedom.
remember
I mean, it's all about
saying
freedom.
He is a liberal.
He's a leader for the
No,
states.
it's federal now.
He's leaving it
Drug
up to
war.
the states. He's leaving up.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
He said
Okay.
the gay marriage and the legalization of marijuana.
But you're still able to go to jail. You're still able to go to jail if the feds. Yeah, you're still able to go to jail if the feds come.
Yeah, you are.
Nowadays, it's so big.
Yes, it is
medical
true. It is.
marijuana.
In Colorado.
You're not going to do it.
Yes, you will.
But no.
In
no.
Colorado,
You
people
have
still
a
go to jail
prescription
if the FBI comes
Yes,
But
the
the
FBI.
only reason they
for having
come-
marijuana.
Didn't
By
the
law,
FBI raided
Listen to each other.
They
Try and
only
listen to each
come
other.
if you cross state lines or if you have more than a specific
Yes.
medical amount.
Yes.
So in that case, you're really
no, but still, they have no right.
Well, they did it
They
in
have no right.
California once they legalized it. They came in the
They have no
depositories
rights.
and took all their weed and stuff.
But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, they're not saying,
You understand what I'm saying? Before?
but they're not making it illegal. They're keeping
No, but
it like that. But
the feds have the power. The feds have the power.
but they're not going to come in unless
They
you're.
did it in California.
They did in California, they do in Colorado.
That's what I'm trying to say. When they first legalized it.
Yeah, I'll explain. Yeah. So what they do is, what the Constitution.
I'm not sure what's important about marijuana.
So we're explaining state rights over federal rights, right?
Right.
So the problem I have is government in general, but we're explaining what's more important, state rights or federal rights. What the federal government's doing wrong is what the Constitution says. The Constitution has each individual state have its own rights,
Absolutely.
and the federal government cannot infringe on those state rights.
That way, if you don't want to be there, move.
Exactly. But the problem is the federal government, even those like Colorado or California. California legalized marijuana, you are still able to go to federal court or no jail if the FBI comes just because the federal government said so. Just because there's a federal law.
Would the federal government
Because there's an incentive.
Because they can't.
Pharmaceutical
They make money
companies,
off it.
police stations. If I'm a cop or a federal agent and I find cash, there's no way to show that cash.
They have a quota.
There's no way to.
I'm like a little confused.
They did it in
Am I speaking too
California.
fast?
I just like I'm not sure where this is relevant to. I'm not. Yeah.
No, we're talking about state rights
We're talking
versus
about state
federal
rights.
rights.
No, I understand that much, but
Talking
I just
specifically in terms of the issue of marijuana legalization.
Yes.
So it sounds like the issue of like state rights versus federal rights is getting confused with the issue, this particular
Of just
issue
drugs.
of whether marijuana should be legalized federally.
Yes, you're right.
Because you're right.
It's a broader thing. We're just talking about drugs specifically.
I really think that it should be up to the state, so that way if you don't like it, move to another state.
Yeah.
That way everybody can be happy.
I just
just like the
I
gay
mean,
rights thing.
I'm trying to find out if the feds are going to
done it before.
grandma with glaucoma
Yes.
and running up in her
Yep.
house and taking
Because
her out.
listen, when they first did it, when they first legalized it in
That's what I'm
California, they
asking.
went to the depositories and took the weed out of the depositories. The feds raided it all.
Yep.
And they were medical prescriptions.
They do it for raw milk all the time.
Yes.
Raw milk's illegal in the United States federally. Raw milk's
The
illegal.
feds have the power. Just like when they first did the gay marriage
We can get
thing.
raw milk pretty easily.
Because you have a state rights, right? But you guys are still able to go to jail though.
But we're still federal
If you-
rule laws.
Like raw milk, I'm out of here.
We were talking about.
Federal rule laws.
When I mean
What's the important
Just like
nugget
the
here?
federal.
I'm losing the important nugget.
when I mean you guys go to jail, means if I produce a business
Federal's
that's like a
above
raw
all.
milk company
So the
and I produce
federals
raw
matter
milk right
than
and
the
sell it to
states
people,
policy.
right? The
But
federal
when
government's
it was in
able
the beginning,
to
in the
put me in
early,
jail
when they
because I'm
first
going against their
California
first
first
law.
legalized, it was
I
very
guess
in the
as
beginning.
like a-
And the feds wanted to
Right.
pay
But are they still doing it?
I don't tend to think as much about state
Oh, that's awesome.
federal rights. Like I'm more concerned about human rights and like whatever means we. And I think some state rights are important because like right now, actually, the school district where I work is like going through this whole state law in Vermont that's like geared towards equity, so that but it's forcing schools to like conglomerate more and to consolidate. It's like this whole school consolidation thing. So I'm just thinking out loud about like my connection to state versus local, and like for me, yeah, like I agree, like local control is important because I don't want my school to like
You guys are
all of a
teachers,
sudden
right?
have, yeah, we're both
Okay,
teachers.
what's your opinion on public education versus private? Which one's better to you?
Wait. Let her finish.
That's gonna be a
Good,
good
good
one.
question. Good question.
I would go there. A lot of
We're talking about
Me too.
socialism here.
Me
a
too.
lot of thoughts about that. But like I think local control of things is important because things differ from like place to place and
Town to town.
and you know who knows best. No, not them. I mean I agree with like I have that libertarian tendency on that in a certain way, but at the same time like our like when I think you said you travel a lot, when I think like locally and I think about equity and justice, which are like super important to me, I think that there's different levels at government, both at the local level, the state level, federal level, and even like with international agreements that we have, there's roles at each of those levels for like sustaining, establishing like justice and equity.
Absolutely.
And
That's great. That's a great perspective.
But see, before our Constitution, there was a big rift in our founding fathers between anti-federalists and federalists.
do you know Hamilton?
Yes, he was a big federalist, but I'm more of a Thomas Jefferson
Yes,
dude. He's
Thomas
more
Jefferson, classical liberal.
anti-federalist. Yes, he believed in a confederation of states, not a federal government.
Have a rap battle.
Yeah, a confederation of states, not a federal government. Because he knew that if some people want to socialize government in one state, they can live there. And if someone wants a capitalistic government in one state, they can live there. He believed in
And there's like 50 people watching
Leave it up to the
also.
states.
Oh, really?
Let the people choose.
What is it on?
All over the world.
Is it
What is their persuasion?
Periscope. Periscope.
Is there a political persuasion to the people that are watching it?
No, it's
You don't
anybody.
know?
Anybody could
He
watch
was,
from
he was
any
having your
country.
conversation, our conversation. It was like
I'm just curious, like who's
She
watching
means like
this
the
right now?
media.
All
Like
people.
where is it coming
Anybody.
from?
You
Anybody
could,
with any
Where would they find
perspective.
it? What would they Google to find it?
it's an app called Periscope. Yeah. And then people could share it and, watch it.
And it's live streaming.
Yes.
you-
Yes.
can
See,
you
there's
tell,
people.
like, who-
There's
how many
people
people
leaving
are
comments right now. So there's 59 people watching. 56.
They're saying not very friendly things.
and they're not talking anything about what we're talking about.
It's yeah.
They're just like saying
So if you're watching, I hope you're listening more so you can respond to
So about
Yeah,
public,
we're trying.
public
That's our
education
goal.
and private, public education and private. What's your opinion on what's it called? What is that? Education program. Common Core.
Oh, I have a lot of opinion on that.
Because I just got cussed out by a teacher that walked past me and said I was evil for hating.
Because
That's not a good teacher.
I said it's dumbing the kids down. It's dumbing the kids of America down.
Thank you. No teacher should cuss. Nobody should ever
Oh,
cuss
she was
anybody
so
out.
But anyways, federally, that's the federal
Public
intervening.
education is federal.
It's a state, right?
Yeah, such a good question. I think
Great, I get to talk to a teacher because this is good.
I'm a new teacher. I'm a first-year teacher. Oh, okay. But I'm.
Oh, you're gonna come to my side. You're gonna be complete libertarian after I'm done.
You gotta watch InfoWars. You gotta watch InfoWars.
So, like, to me, like, one of my, like, most important core values is, like, equity, like, people, everyone, like, human rights, and to me, like, that means, like, everyone getting a fair chance, and so, like, if you're born in you're born in a household with, like, a lot of trauma and not a lot of resources, not a lot of food, not a lot of support for education, versus a very supportive, academic, college-educated parents and grandparents, like, that's two really really different situations. And, like, probably my, like, most essential goal as a teacher is, like, this.
It's that guy right there.
I want to see what's the policy that's going to create that. And so I went to private school, kindergarten through 8th grade, and then I went to public high school, and I went to private college.
I'm serious.
And I teach in public school, and I'm really committed to teaching in public school because I think that's what creates this.
Right.
Not that I don't like. I'm like, as a teacher, I would.
How do you feel about the curriculum, though?
Yeah,
The curriculum. The Common Core, the mathematics specifically.
The math specifically?
Yes, the math specifically. Oh, and the science too, because the science doesn't start with science.
Detail you want to get.
Well, before sorry.
Do you have children?
No, but she does.
My oldest is 18. They're
Coming in out of nowhere.
So I hate the Common Core and
Take
I
the way
see where
you
it comes
learn
from.
math, and now we're teaching them this way.
Well, so I think the intent of the Common Core was equity.
On paper, it looks great.
And the intent, and so as a new teacher, like I'm at a school where there's like a lot of set curriculum that's like shoved down my throat, and I have to shove it down the kids' throat, and I don't like that at all. My personal story is like I struggled like so bad the first 3 months of this school year as a first-year teacher because I was trying to figure out this curriculum instead of figuring out how to like build community and a safe culture in my classroom. And the way that I finally started doing that right before winter break was to abandon all the curriculum and like be human with my students, which I think is like what teachers need to do.
Were you allowed though? I mean,
was
if
I
they
allowed?
knew you were doing that?
They know. I mean, it's a small school. It's one class per grade. I have 18 students, and so people. It's not like it's a secret. Well, I sent an email. I mean, I think I'm getting mixed messages from the administration. I mean, I think all teachers are getting mixed messages.
But it's
the parents are
not such a
cool.
black and white though. It's like a tightrope walk, right?
It is. So, but getting back to the Common Core, like the intent of the Common Core is equity, which I support. However, the result is one size fits all, shove it down their throat, and that that's impacting administrators. It impacts me, and like those poor kids at the bottom. It's just getting shoved down. When I hate the curriculum that I have.
When I was in school, there was 3 types of levels of classes they taught. Like, it was, academic, the scholastic, and then it was like, I think it was called applied, but it was 3 different levels of 3 different types of learning. And it was public school.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, they don't do that anymore? Or they do that?
So you're talking about like tracking kids?
Yes.
So like the higher achievers?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not into that because I think all that does is if
It makes
like,
them feel
if they're-
bad about themselves.
Well, no, but if they're here, what that does is it makes it more like this.
What's wrong with that? I mean,
What's wrong with
that's
this?
individuality right there. Someone just achieved more because they're doing better.
No, it's like you don't have a chance and you have all the chances in the world, and we're just going to keep giving you more chances, and we're going to keep beating you down.
Keeping them up and keeping the ones down.
As a teacher, I can totally get where it comes from because it's way more challenging to teach, to differentiate, to teach across abilities. But I'm dual certified in special education.
Oh, cool.
Because I want to be a teacher that can
So you get the emotional aspect of it too with the kids.
Well, no, just because I feel like we shouldn't have special. I mean, not we shouldn't have that's a whole other conversation. Not we shouldn't have special education, but the idea of like tracking kids and like segregating people based on their abilities, like benefits these people more and hurts these people more. And it also doesn't benefit these
with
people.
The math. It freaked me out about the math because I was doing a lot of research online with parents. They were angry about it. It feels like they're dumbing them down with 100 steps.
Writing out everything.
100 steps to get to the answer.
Yes and no. Yeah.
I'm like, when I learned math, it was like real quick.
According to curriculum.
So here's the thing about the CCSS, the Common Core Standards, is like the standards themselves, aside from the curriculum and all the way that they've been dealt with, like I don't think it's terrible. I think they're actually extremely high standards, and most adults I know don't meet the 5th grade standards for literacy and because it's not just reading standards, it's like communication and listening skills. And like if I watch young people like yell at each other, most adults don't have that skill. So I think they're good. I think they're good standards, but I think the way that they've been adopted and the way that they're being like, I take it as a personal insult when it's like, here, we don't think you're smart enough to figure out how to teach these standards in like a creative, authentic way. So we're gonna give you a script. We're gonna give you a script and turn you into a robot.
I thought something cool about being a teacher was being creative about how you teach and individuality and how you teach. Because this teacher might do this way.
And it's about building relationships with kids. And you can't do that if you're reading off a script.
So they're centralizing.
Teacher that may have influenced them.
And the schools are losing their individuality too. This school can't be this way. Like you could be like, oh, this school's this way, and then this school's this way. They're losing its individuality.
That's the good thing about private. You can choose. You have your own culture. You have your own.
Yeah, but private has to use the Common Core now too.
Really?
Yes. Well, they're going to start forcing it on Catholic schools and everything. Some Catholic schools are implementing
Not all of
it.
them, but yes, they are.
Coming from the state.
Well, because I know they're talking. It was about. It had to do with the funding because they said the Common Core education there was an incentive to it. If you implemented it, you would get grants, and the school would get more money. So they were saying it was getting the schools to want that money in their hands. So the schools were like, oh, we can get more money for our schools, so they're implementing it.
Helped on the fundraising, and they're actually not for profit.
Where the kitty cat shirt, you know. Well, I mean, I don't really want you to grab my pussy, but
I'm just saying, but is that what? Excuse me, man, but your pussy nobody wants to grab. Just so you know. That's very rude.
you are so amazing. I hope you have a good day in America. I'll grab my own pussy. Thank you.
I apologize for that.
That's okay. You know, everybody has the right to opinion.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. But is there anything else you want to say?
We're from restraint. So I'm just trying to read you.
Because you're against Trump, right?
Yes.
Okay, and why are you against Trump?
Well, I kind of go on the human rights level of it, so.
So, like, which ones?
Well, I mean, we shouldn't be making fun of someone that has a disability. We shouldn't be promoting anti-feminist movements or voting rights is pretty big because, I don't know. I mean, we all kind of know what happened with the election, so never mind the bedfellows of who it is.
You're definitely for human rights because you said a lot of different things that are very, like, that's very important.
Yes.
Like, okay, is there specific things that you want to say that he did? Like, for example, like voting rights. Like, what is it that Trump did?
I don't actually think he's smart enough to have been involved in the voter discrimination and suppression of this election. So
yeah, okay.
But I know it's there.
Well, but what happened?
I mean, how far do you want to go back? I mean, we could go like way back before like people like me could vote, or people with a different color skin than me.
I guess I want to go. It's up to you, but I guess I think about going back to where Trump is involved, or how Trump is somewhat affected to the system of rigging the vote.
Well, okay, so he's not necessarily the sole, I guess, the sole person to blame on it. It's actually big money out of politics, so it's the things he supports where his money goes. It's who buys our elections completely. I mean, I don't really think he even knows what's going on most of the time, but the people he's putting in place he's applying people that are directly purchasable within our government, and we need to have free and fair elections. Paul Ryan, come on, you know. I mean, I could go on and on, but
yeah. And so you kind of put Paul Ryan and Trump in the same boat, right?
Well, you know, yeah.
Why?
They are.
Is it because of the R?
Well, that is a really funny way to put it. I'm glad you're trying to be cute like that. I don't know if that's like an insult or not.
No.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's not because of the R.
No, I didn't mean that at all.
No, that's fine. Yeah. I don't know.
Because they hate each other. So I was just wondering why.
Because what?
They hate each other.
Well,
Paul Ryan hates Trump. Like,
yes.
Paul Ryan did everything he could to kind of like make sure Trump didn't get elected. You know, so you should be for Paul Ryan. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. I had to listen to Paul Ryan when I was here in April, and it was pretty disturbing then. And then that was even before we knew who was going to be our candidate.
Oh, the flag?
Actually, like, go forward.
Oh, definitely.
In the primary, so I don't know.
Yeah. All right, was there anything else you want to say?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. Well, I very much respect your opinion.
Absolutely, no. I'm glad you're out asking questions, you know? Everybody needs to have information, no matter what side.
What, you got something else to say?
Yeah. Well, the main thing.
Hold on. If you want to be, hold on.
Who are you again? Can I
My name's Joey Gibson.
footage?
Yeah. On Monday, search Joey Gibson on YouTube. It'll be up on there. Okay?
What?
Yeah. And nothing will be edited. Nothing. It's all everything you see.
That's cool.
All right. Thank you very much. I
Oh,
appreciate
thank you. Keep doing it. Make people talk. It's good.
Yeah.
I guess the main thing for me is that our economic system, which is capitalism,
No, it's not. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
is about trying to make money as fast as possible. There's nothing else for no reason but just to make money.
Right.
And that has got to be so strong because they've accumulated so much money that they ate up the political system, which is democracy. And actually, both parties fell into that. The Democrats are no longer what the Democrats originally were.
No, they're not liberal anymore.
They're both corporate parties.
Yeah.
So the idea of feeling like the country's got eaten up by capitalism, and that what it creates is that some people have all the money and they control all the strings, and then that's no longer. It's stupid actually because we need all of our intelligence, all of our participation, because we're all human, we're all the same. And if you could only have a couple people making all the decisions for everybody else, that's not as smart.
Okay, so basically what you're saying, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like there's a lot of things we can agree on, is you don't like big power. You don't like it when there's a couple people that control everything, right?
Good point.
So you're against big government, right? Because you don't want government to control everything, because that's a monopoly, right?
Well,
you're for limited government, like this.
Well, if the government was influenced by everybody, then it wouldn't be concentrated power.
But how do you? Okay,
power.
so if government has big control, and if government is big, right, then people will pay them off, right?
Yeah.
Always, no matter what law you pass, right? Like you can't.
No. You can have big government, meaning a lot of money in the government.
No, like government is going to pass a lot of laws, a lot of regulations.
If that's honestly the people, if people are actually participating and voting, then that's the people governing themselves, and so then it's not big, it's diverse.
No, but and I understand what you're saying, but what you're saying is that the government cannot be corrupted because the people voted for certain things. So
if it's direct.
For example, let's say that people voted for a really high regulation that makes it really hard to start a business, or high taxes that makes it hard to start a business, right? But if you're a big business like Walmart or all those companies and you can pay off, right, congressmen and senators, you're going to get away with tax write-offs, always, right? So you're going to kill the mom and pop businesses, and you're going to destroy, and you're going to help the big business. And you're going to give money to the biggest company in the world, which is the United States of American government.
So maybe we agree in the sense that the corporations of our government is no longer representative.
No.
So what people need to say is that it's not just big government, because government is the one way that we can have an influence over our affairs.
Hold on. That's a very good point. But if government was small and had no control, why would you ever buy it out? If you're Walmart, why would you give money to congressmen when they have no power?
So what do you do?
When they have no power to destroy small business?
Thank you. So if you don't have a strong big government, how do you reach that power in corporations to do what they want?
Okay, that's a great question. Here's how you do it: competition. No, you let small business rise up. For example,
but it's not. Why does it not happen?
Because of regulation and high taxes.
No.
Hold on, hear me out. I'll give you one example.
A monopoly doesn't have a government in it, and you always have one person that runs everybody else.
The United States of American government is the biggest monopoly in the world. It can do whatever it wants. It can control things. It picks the winners and the losers. And I'll give you a quick example. Yeah, I'll give you a quick example. Can I give you a quick example? Okay. How mad were you in 2008 when all those freaking bank companies pretty much crashed their economy and they got bailed out? Okay. That's a perfect example. Our company said they're too big to fail. They bought them out and they didn't let them fail. They let them do what they wanted to do. But yet the small companies, they didn't get bailed out.
I agree.
That's communism. That's not capitalism. It is, right?
All right. Well,
If you
maybe
get
we
money
should
from the
use our
government,
terms. What we need to do is have local control over local people.
Yes.
Right. But the company,
Amen.
but you can't have the corporations be in there either because they're too big. You can't have anybody too big.
What you're
You
saying
can't have a
is
government too big to fail, and you can't have a corporation too
But what
big.
you're saying is you want business to fail when it gets too big,
Yeah.
right? Through government intervention.
Do you know why?
Hold on. But I'm right? Like you want government, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm saying you want government intervention when a business gets too big, correct?
I want the whole economic system to be different. I don't want a
Through
corporation.
government
I
intervention.
don't want to have a business whose only job is to get big. It needs to have a
So,
social
but
purpose.
the only way to stop it is through government intervention, right?
No.
Okay, hold on.
Wait, there's many
How
things
do
we
you
can do.
convince a company for their motivation to not be to make money other than government intervention?
You change their charter. You
How do
say
you do that?
you say we will let you exist as long as you
So we let
fulfill
you
this
exist
purpose.
through what laws?
Through a law.
Passed by government.
Right.
Government intervention.
Right.
So government intervention, right, to stop a big company. That's all it is. You want government intervention, and that's
what do you-
okay. But you need to say it, because
But when I say government, because we use our terms and they're all jaded. Government simply means people get to say how they want to govern themselves. And
So-
that's how it ought to be.
So you're saying we get to vote.
Yeah.
So
But
we're
they
gonna
vote
vote.
more than
So
that.
are we gonna vote on every single business? Like
Yes.
we're gonna say, okay,
We
this
have the
business
digital
right here is too
technology.
big. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna.
No, but we're not going to have businesses in the same way. The whole impulse to get too big would never even happen.
Because there's no motivation for money.
Right, because money, what is money?
So then what's the motivation?
The motivation is because we want to do good for each other.
No,
We
no,
actually
you're
want to
talking
do
about
good
good
for each
people.
other. Good people.
Yeah, but that's not the world.
We
right?
are good, but that's a belief system. You believe people are ultimately good.
No, I believe they're good in terms of, I believe 51% of the population is very good people.
But we're all the same.
Let's say
We're all one thing.
let's say 90% of the population is good. You got 5%, right? You can't control them by saying they're just good people. You're gonna have to control them through government intervention. And here's my issue with you: is you don't like it when there's a couple people at the top controlling everything. So there's certain people up top who are gonna have to make decisions and control and say this business hasn't paid me enough money, so we're gonna take them out, right? That's what's going to happen. It's corruption. That's the history of
But doesn't mean
humankind.
the history doesn't mean the future has to be the same way.
No, you're right.
All
right,
of these
but,
things are not necessary.
But history says nothing. There's nothing about history that would ever say that you can let people just do what they want, right, and yet do the right thing.
I wouldn't. We both, neither of us know that. And all of our history has been a patriarchy. Today was about women having more power. We've been under one system as long as written history's been around. So we haven't even tried anything else. We haven't been creative. All of these things that you say
No,
has to
there's
be this
better
or has
things,
to be
for
that.
sure.
We can be creative. There's ways. We have the same values.
But you're very right. Okay, but in conclusion, so your way of being creative is, and really, like, wouldn't you just say it's all about having a bigger government, but a bigger government that's controlled in a different way, so that we don't turn into Nazi Germany or Stalin.
And I would say that the word government in our political speech, we have to start defining our
So maybe we can warp it into a different.
Right, but I think that we have to believe that people are good and act that way, and the goodness will come out.
Okay.
And that we want to live from this.
Good.
Okay. And,
No, you're very
and
smart guy.
money is just a tool, and we've gotten lost in life.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one last thing before we finish this. So here's what I'm going to ask you. That word government that you don't like to use because you have this, you're an open thinking guy and you have this idea of something different, and that's good. That's what we need, you know. But whatever that word you want to use, it's kind of at the top. Maybe the people don't think that's the top. In the end, they have the power, right? And let's say 5% of the world is evil, okay? You understand that 5% can do everything they can to claw their way up to the top.
So we have to
deceive
figure a way to
us.
stop that.
Yeah, we do. And until we can do that,
Yeah, you're right.
Until we can do that, then it's not going to work.
My friend over here is a chiropractor. He said he could have cheated the insurance companies and made a lot of money, and some chiropractors do that. So it's easy to scam the system.
There's good people out there that are not going to do that.
So we have to figure a way to make it not so easy and have consequences for those people who are doing it, and to say deep down they're good. Let's help them to be good.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good job, Joey Gibson. We'll be up on there on Monday.
Where are you?
Joey Gibson.
Joey Gibson. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay.
All right, you want to go eat? You hungry?
Let's go eat.